Well, thank you. It's really exciting for me to be here today with a group of such innovative thinkers and players in the online world, and I'm very grateful to Jonathan Doob and the Online Association for inviting me to do this. It's been terrifically well organized so far. I thought that the event last night was a blast, but also very well done. So whoever did that, bravo. Now, I've had the privilege of working on magazines, newspapers, TV, books, and I've got to say that the experience of devising with this team I've brought together for IAC with the Daily Beast is on an online news site is possibly the most exciting thing I've ever done. I don't think I've been having as much fun as I did since I first took over the Tatler magazine at the age of 25 in London in 1979. It really is a real high to be working in a media atmosphere that's really vibrant with life instead of constantly obsessed with fears of its own extinction. I mean, we're in the short time that our little team has been huddled together in the fourth floor of Barry Diller's, glamorous ethereal building in a meatpacking district in Manhattan. We've really had a blast in there, and I felt that the media revolution, even in that short time that we've been there, has really accelerated. I feel there's a sort of tipping point has been reached, and really the time has come when old war stories about the glories of media past and networks when they were in their high and when everybody was paid millions of dollars and 5,000 people went to a shoot and wasn't it all wonderful and so on. Yes, it was great, but hey, it's over. The tipping points happened, and I feel very excited and actually very privileged to be allowed now to get into this new world. Maybe it won't work, but I think there's a lot of energy there, and it's very, very creatively stimulating. At the Daily Beast, we've assembled a terrific team. Our general manager, Caroline Marks, who ran social media for Comcast and content at Fancast, has been a really great coach for me and our very talented executive editor, Edward Felsenthal. Hi, guys. Working with them and alongside IAC gorillas like Evite, Match, and Ask, and upstarts like Pronto and Zwinky, I have to say I felt assailed every minute by new assumptions, new language, new structures, new freedoms. The first time I heard the term wireframe, it sounded vaguely sinister. It sounded like some instrument of torture in the Spanish Inquisition. I mean, a nav bar, I discovered, was not a pit stop for drunken sailors. What the hell, all these terms. There have been times when I felt like an exchange student in Bogota with only a rudimentary understanding of Spanish. I mean, literally sometimes. One idiosyncrasy of the web world I've discovered is that tech geniuses are usually called Fabio or Amish or Lee Ho, and they never seem to be in the same hemisphere that you are. I mean, not just geographically, but brain-wise. I've found new contradictions. The warp speed of the web, for instance, is intoxicating after monthly magazines, where I've had to sit on a scoop for weeks between going to press and the newsstand copies actually appearing. Even at the New Yorker, which was a weekly, that 2.5 days before we actually came out and before we went to press and actually came out were really, a cliffhanger for us, whether we could hang on to our scoop. Such long deadlines now feel a bit like being, a hand weaver in the era of, before the power loom came along. But I also discovered that on the web, I'm actually boxed in as I never was in print in terms of presentation, unable in the preordained space shapes to make an unanticipated splash or play photographs in a way and spontaneous way, and that makes me nuts actually. But there are also, of course, many compensations for that, like new opportunities to explore in multimedia the power of words and pictures and sounds together, which makes up for that inhibition that I seem to be feeling, with layout. Social media is also very, very energizing because it gives you that instantaneous feedback, not just directly, but evangelizing your site on Facebook and Twitter. And all of it helps us understand what's working and what isn't and how to improve. What I really relish is how experimental an editor can be in this arena, finding and developing new voices, which is something I've always loved to do. Citizen journalism can be a real mixed bag, but its surge is liberating and quintessentially democratic. I see it as the journalistic love child of Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Paine. Sometimes I daydream about what we might have had on the web if it had come along a bit earlier, maybe waltwhitman.com or williamblake.net or georgeorwell.uk. That's one I would have logged on to every day. Maybe Ben Franklin would have posted under the name Poor Richard. But it's especially creative in video and photography, where thanks to such innovators as CNN News I Report, Oh My News, NowPublic.com, PlaceBlogger.com, Flickr, and so much more, raw news can flash onto our screens from nowhere without that sometimes heavy-handed filter of TV executives browbeaten by ratings tyranny. And laughter, so often missing from mainstream media, is one of YouTube's huge contributions, I feel, to our lives, filling our inboxes with send-alongs from friends guaranteed to crack us up. Perhaps even more valuable, really, is the way it can surprise us all with something as moving as the last lecture by Randy Pausch, demonstrating cognitive dissonance by doing push-ups, warming hearts, and inspiring minds. As a print editor, what I most enjoyed was coaxing pieces out of people who hadn't really thought of writing for magazines, like Jeff Toobin or Steve Martin or Dominic Dunn, and many others who hadn't really considered writing for magazines and gambling that they'd had an untapped literary voice. And it was very gratifying when they really worked out. But how much faster and more numerously do unmediated voices surface every day on the internet and develop their own dedicated followings? Everybody in this room is a testament to that. All of you have audiences that you found and dug up and responded to all over the place, and I think that's extremely thrilling. We've already identified some terrific new voices on the fledgling Daily Beast.